Okay, hey guys, I'm back. And I want to talk about something it's been a topic that's been discussed um, from a number of different angles, and that topic is psychology and combat in RPGs. I'd like to offer, if I may, my perspective as someone who has actually been there, done that, and from my viewpoint, um, what goes through your head. Uh, what happens. I was 20 years old when I went to Vietnam. I was on the last year of my 3-year enlistment. I had served all over the place, really. Uh, Fort Ord, California, West Berlin, uh, then wound up in Vietnam because I actually volunteered to go out of a sense of, I think, perhaps of duty, curiosity, really, but a sense of duty as much as anything else. I will, first of all, going into a war zone it's got its own strange little thing to it. Because, you've seen the 6 o'clock news, you've seen the film footage, you've seen, and there is this feeling, I think, in the pit of your stomach. Um, it's funny, I didn't really tell my parents I was volunteering to go to Vietnam. I figured that I was 20 years old, a variation of the I'm 18, damn it, and I'm going to do this on my own. Well, my father understood. Having been a police officer for 25 years, he understood the idea and certainly the concept of duty to one's community slash country. My mother was obviously upset. I was her oldest, her firstborn. And she said, "Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell her?" I said, "Because you tried to talk me out of it." She said, "Damn right I would have. I'd have probably tried to break both your legs." But she accepted. So I was off. But the 30 days I was home, which, by the way, saw my 20th birthday. I celebrated my 20th birthday about 2 weeks before I shipped out. It was a strange feeling. It really was. An odd feeling, something I'd never done this before. This was something that, well, you're a little apprehensive because you're not really sure how you're going to react. And we landed at, if I remember right, I think it was Tan Son Nhut Air Force Base after a long damn flight. Well, for me, it was a long damn flight from Kansas City to Oakland, California, the Oakland Army Terminal there, which I think is still open. Maybe not, I don't know. And then it was a long flight across the very dark Pacific. We landed at stopover at Honolulu. Didn't get to see much of it. And they kept us in a pretty tight rein. We could get a meal at the restaurant there at the airport, and the first thing that smacked me in the face was, "My God, this is expensive." But there was always this little thing that I had inside me, like, hell, you know, wow. And it's an apprehension. Am I gonna do? How am I gonna react? And finally we got in country. Tan Son Nhut wound up at a replacement battalion, a Repel Depel as it used to be called. Next thing you know, I'm my duty assignment, and there I was, fire base in the village of Du Quoc, Republic of South Vietnam. I'll tell you something. My sister, after I got back, asked me, "Was I scared over there?" And my answer immediately was, "When wasn't I scared?" I was in the middle of a war zone. Now, this was military advisory team. I was with the Company D-44 Signal Battalion. We did, I guess, combat signal support and intelligence for the 25th ARVN Division. So there were only, between us and the MAC team, I think there were maybe 100, 200 Americans and thousands of Vietnamese, any number of whom were soldiers and were theoretically on our side. And it's that feeling of strangeness, of aloneness, sort of. You know, it's the fact that it's you and your buddies because, hey, we're Americans. You know, we're all in this together. There's almost like an instant bonding. And it's hard for a lot of people to understand, but that's what it was. And as far as the firefights go, I will tell you this. First time I came under fire, I peed my pants. I did. I was scared. Hundreds of people I didn't even know were trying to kill me. Then I got angry because it's like, how dare they? You don't even know me well enough to want to kill me. And that was another split. We're talking split seconds. And then my training kicked in. I was with the rest of the guys in the outfit, and we got about our business. But you were still scared. But now you're scared of letting them down. Because in the end, that's who you're fighting for. It's not mom, God, or apple pie. It's not the president. It's not Congress. It's not any of this. It's for the guys on either side of you. It's for your own. That little knot of Americans right there. That's what it was all about. And you didn't want to do anything to betray them. So you had to bat for it. You did what you had to do. Yeah. And in truth, out of the, I'd say 365 days I was there, as I've told people, I didn't see more than an actual maybe 60, 90 minutes tops of real, getting shoot-a-mats. The rest of it was waiting, doing your job. Now, how do you want to relate this to gaming? I don't know, per se, but I have some ideas. I know that we do a lot of adventuring, and all of that. So you run into monsters and you do this. But if you wanted to do it right, you'd have long periods of where you're not doing much of anything, maybe just traveling from place to place, or, you down the village doing your thing. And I guess what I'm saying is that if you want the real pace, then combat is going to be rare. But when it does, it is going to be absolutely fecking terrifying. Absolutely. I don't care, even if you're a veteran, even if you're a veteran warrior, as it were. There used to be a saying in the Army, I think it still is. It takes 16 weeks to train a soldier. It takes less than 2 seconds to make him a veteran, because at that point, at that instant when you realize, holy crap, somebody's shooting at me, it's pass or fail. It's pass or fail. That would be an interesting time. That's when I would do a morale check. If I were running this and I used to do it as well. If I were running this as an RPG, I'd do this as a morale check. Right there, that instant. Fight or flight. You don't know what you're going to do. You get bonuses for being a veteran, for having done this before. That sort of thing. But that's what happens. It's make or break. And then there's another part too. And this is what I always thought of with uh, the whole idea of military service, long-term military campaigns, that there comes a time when you just look out, you know, and you go, I can't fucking do this anymore. I just can't. And it manifests itself in a number of ways. For those of you who have seen the very excellent miniseries Band of Brothers, they do this very well. Uh, you know, Lieutenant Compton, for example, who I think was at the Battle of Hagenau, he had enough. Dropped his helmet. He just went blank-faced. And none of his comrades thought any of the worse of him. Because they all knew that's going to be me someday. Not this could be me. It's going to be this is me. This is going to be me. I'm going to reach that point. We all do. You can only do this for so long. And then you just drop it. You just say, I can't do this. And the manifestations could go anywhere from going catatonic to crying to, you just can't. You just do so much of it. And that's what's also faced. And there needs to be, I think, some form of mechanism. And I think in the process of talking about various mechanisms, one of the best, I think, is the sanity check from Call of Cthulhu, where you're really, you're getting that whittled away, your sanity, your willpower, your just drive to keep going on. It dims out. I've seen this firsthand. I've experienced this firsthand. In the aftermath. How many people really want to do that? How many people? I know when I played 5th edition, the 5th edition adventure, D&D 5th edition, I knew that I was really surprised and touched by one of my fellow players that was actually doing a flashback. It was hardened mercenary, but he was doing a flashback. That was very, very good. I think it was Robert Ogre, I believe. It was just terrific. Because you need to, I think, if you really want to make it authentic in terms of a warrior character, and I'm not talking about one-shots, I'm talking about the overall, a campaign, they're going to reach that point where they say enough's enough. I've had enough. No matter what level you are, you could reach this point when you're just, I'm just a second level, fighter. It doesn't matter. That's your own personal limit. That would probably be the time to retire the character if you wanted to do that. You just say, Auric the fighter, he just has had enough. He can't, he just decides he's got to go someplace and is, do something else. He's had enough. So those are my thoughts on it, as disorganized as they might seem, and it's been my practical experience. I would like to close by just saying thanks everybody for listening, and play games, have fun, because that's what it's all about. But also, try it sometime. Keep it real. I think you'll find your characters are going to be a lot more interesting. Okay? Take care, my friends.